Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Friday, the 9th of October, comes to you from London. And we see the markets mixed. Stocks rose again yesterday, so they're shaking off any sort of fears that we're seeing around the virus and US election. But dollar sinking lower. That's quite interesting. We're seeing the dollar making new lows for the week. So it's had a bad week after that good week that we had a couple of weeks ago. So dollar is short-term bearish, medium-term bearish and long-term bearish as well. Just testing this long-term support and the important figure chart. Remembering this is my weekly, daily and 60-minute charts, long-term, medium-term and short-term views with the corresponding point and figure targets. Looking at the euro, we see, of course, that is stronger on that weaker dollar. So euro dollar is looking quite good. Sterling's just struggling still to break that 130 mark on that weaker dollar. And if we look at sterling against the euro, we're seeing here, which is teetering around this 110 level, but at the moment just falling away. Some not good economic news out in the UK this morning, and that's just pushing sterling lower. Looking at Bitcoin, we're nudging now, getting near that $11,000 dollar level. We jumped yesterday, and that's now looking bullish short-term, medium-term, finding support, and bullish long-term. So Bitcoin, and also activating a target yesterday, so some 7% higher. So don't be surprised to see Bitcoin in the $11,000 region. Looking at the S&P 500 index, as we mentioned, recovering, making new highs. That's we still have the downside target hanging over us, but we are now pushing higher. The Nasdaq chart is actually a little bit clearer. We have this upside target. We need to break higher than this level that we've seen here the start of the last week. So we need to break higher than that to activate that upside target to 13,180, basically another 14% higher. So that's the real test. Can we make a new mini high here? And of course, to lose these longer term downside targets that are hanging over us, we have to make new new highs, new all-time highs. Looking at the Dow, we're up as well. Here the Dow has made new highs, so that is new multi-week highs, so that is looking better, but we still again have to break this high that we saw back in September. Futures are up today. The S&P future up 0.4%, the Nasdaq E-mini up 0.25%, so we're looking to go higher there. The VIX volatility has settled right back to the mid-20s, so that's weaker. The fear index, if you like, is falling away, so that's good news for the market. The UK market's up just under 0.5% on the FTSE future. Looking at the DAX in Germany, it's flat this morning, and the CAC Quarante is actually up by just under 0.5% as well. So European markets are not looking too bad. Japan was actually down 0.5%, and Hong Kong down 0.3%. The standout in Asia is China. It was up 1.7%. We might be finding some support here. We're still short-term bearish, but we are in this range now for a good few months, so it's waiting for that pattern to change. The Sensex in India is up 0.6%. That market actually making new multi-month highs, so that's looking pretty good. And the Aussie market climbing, looking higher as well, so that's quite key there too. Looking at gold, we're sitting at 1913, so we've actually moved back into bullish territory, getting back above that $1,900 mark. So that's quite interesting. We're activating upside targets, some 0.5% higher. We've got another one 4% higher, 5% higher, but of course it's breaking to new highs. We'll activate this big upside target and lose these downside targets. Silver is sitting up 2%, so that's looking pretty strong, and US 10-year yields holding steady at 0.77%. So it's been a very strong week for bond yields in the US, making new 4-month highs. Taking a look at the energy mix, we've got Brent crude. It's looking pretty good on the short-term chart, nudging 43.50 this morning with some good upside targets. The key thing is we need to break this level that we saw back in mid-September. And of course, for crude to really rocket, we've got to go back above that previous high. There's still a look of rolling over here, so it's too early to say. We did activate the upside target to $51 yesterday, so that's good news, but we do have a downside target of $30 hanging over us. We did also negate a target here to $38, so crude is looking pretty strong for the week after a bit of a seesaw falls last week. And the same with WTI, of course, it's making new highs, so we're looking better there. US nat gas up 1.2%, just trending steadily higher, and we're seeing that on the 1 minute chart. We've got a target here of about 270 to play for, 273. Looking at coal, coal was looking a bit bearish towards the beginning of the week, but we have got these downside targets hanging over us. But we have seen a bit of a recovery. Of course, it needs to break the end of September highs. Emissions have really been all over the place. We sort of saw this breakout on emissions. That was looking pretty good. We jumped 3% and broke, and then we've come back. There's really quite strong support at 26 euros on emissions, and we are just sitting right on support this morning there. So we're really been taken to the wire. A move below 26 would be pretty bearish short term, and then we'd need to hold this 25 level. We break below 25 for a couple of days, I'd be saying, okay, this the long-term potential for emissions has changed. Looking at MBP, looking strong and had a very good week. That recovery really in trains. Amazing when you think front month gas in the UK was down to 8 pence, and now we're sitting at some nearly 40. TTF is down this morning, down just under 1%, but still looking pretty good on trend. TTF seasonal gas also looking pretty good on trend, and German Power is actually down 1%. We're still holding the support level on German Power, but the key thing is that it is just testing, and we did have this intraday breach where we did actually one day we did close lower, but we've managed to hold back on support. That's why I like to see a few days below the trend. If you've done my training course, you'll be aware of that. We've been pretty bearish on French power. We think it's the weakling in Europe. We are seeing here a breakdown of trend, so this is really bucking the trend, and it's still below trend, and we're bearish below the cloud with some downside targets. On the 1 minute chart, the downside target was met. We have got some other bigger targets on the 60 minute chart. Dutch power down 1% this morning, 0.7%, so we are still in range there. Nordic Power, not much change there, but it has had a pretty good week. We see that move there, and we are sort of trending to bullish. Got a new upside target to 30 euros if we can break above that sort of 25.60 level. Quarterly power and the quarter looking pretty good on Nordic Power. Czech Power is just still in range. And last look at UK Power, just holding on, is down 0.5% this morning. The big thing, of course, is just to watch this crude chart as to see whether we can actually make new highs. That's it for today. Have a great weekend. Until Monday, happy charting. See you then.